I had learned how to disappear on purpose. As a nanny, that skill kept me safe. I spoke softly, moved quietly, and never took more space than required. The house felt enormous, but my life inside it stayed small. I cared for a child who was not mine and lived among wealth that never touched me. That distance felt protective. "Can I see you for a moment?" my employer asked one evening. I froze. Did I do something wrong? "No," came the calm reply. "Just a conversation." I stepped into the office with my hands folded. My heart raced. The air felt heavy. "There is a company gala this weekend," my employer said. "I need you there with me." I laughed, nervous and sharp. "I think there is a mistake." "There is not." "Why would I attend something like that?" "For appearance." My chest tightened. "Appearance for what?" "For stability," the answer came. "For image." I swallowed. "I am the nanny. I am aware. I do not belong in that world." "You will manage," came the smooth response. "Everything will be arranged." The word everything pressed against my ribs. "People will talk." "They already talk." I looked down. What would I wear? "A dress will be provided." How should I act? "Be natural." That almost broke me. "This feels wrong." "It is temporary," came the reply. One evening. One evening felt like a door closing. I nodded because silence felt safer than refusal. I told myself this was work. I told myself I was invisible by design. The dress arrived the next day. Dark blue. Soft. Too expensive. A note waited beside it. "Thank you for your cooperation." No warmth lived in those words. I stared into the mirror while changing, barely recognizing the reflection. I looked borrowed. My hands shook as I adjusted the fabric. "You look presentable," my employer said when I stepped out. "Thank you," I replied, unsure who deserved the compliment. The venue glowed with light and sound. Music vibrated through the floor. Voices blended into a constant hum. I stayed close, afraid of drifting. "This place is overwhelming," I said. "Stay near me," came the instruction. Eyes followed us. I felt judgment settle on my skin. Whispers moved faster than footsteps. "This is my guest," my employer announced smoothly. No name followed. We moved through the room. Business leaders. Investors. Smiles aimed past me, then back again. I felt like an object with a purpose. A woman leaned close. "Beautiful choice," came the comment. "Permanent." "Temporary," my employer answered. The word burned. Another voice asked, "Where did you find her?" "Close," came the casual reply. I smiled because smiling was required. Dinner passed in polite noise. I listened more than I spoke. "You are doing fine," my employer whispered. "I do not understand this world," I whispered back. "That is why it works." My stomach dropped. "Works how?" "Relax," came the reply. The truth settled slowly. I was decoration. I was distraction. I was proof meant to quiet rumors and control stories. I was not invited. I was deployed. Applause filled the room after the speech. I clapped while feeling hollow. "Thank you for tonight," my employer said later. "For what?" I asked. "For helping." I finally looked closely at the smile offered to me. Polished, distant, untouched. As I left, something inside me shifted. Accepting the invitation had changed my path. I did not know how yet. I only knew pain had noticed me, and pain never arrived without purpose. On the drive home, silence pressed against me. "You did well," my employer said. "I did what was asked," I replied. "That is enough." I stared out the window. Was I ever asked if I wanted this? "No," came the honest answer. My throat tightened. "Why not?" "Because refusal would complicate things." I nodded slowly. "And my comfort?" That was not part of the calculation. The word calculation echoed in my mind. Back at the house, I removed the dress carefully. The fabric felt heavier now. I folded it like evidence. In my room, I sat on the edge of the bed. "I should never have gone," I whispered to myself. My phone buzzed with a message. "Thank you again. This helped." Help. I typed a response and deleted it. I typed again and erased the words. What did I help? I asked the empty room. Memories replayed. The looks. The whispers. The way my presence had been shaped into a message I never agreed to send. I thought about the child asleep down the hall. I thought about my paycheck. I thought about how easy it was to replace me. I am invisible, I reminded myself. That is why this works. The thought did not comfort me anymore. The next morning nothing changed. Breakfast waited. Schedules stayed the same. Good morning, my employer said. Good morning, I replied. No mention of the gala. No apology. No acknowledgement. That silence spoke louder than the music ever had. As I packed lunches and checked homework, I felt something unfamiliar settle into me. Awareness. Not anger yet. Something colder. I see now, I whispered while alone. The invitation had not been kindness. It had been a test of usefulness. And I had passed. That realization hurt more than the whispers. It told me exactly where I stood. It told me how easily I could be shaped. As I closed the door behind me that night, I understood one thing with painful clarity. Saying yes had been the first step. The next step would not be as quiet. I lay awake long after the house slept. My mind replayed every word, every pause, every look that dismissed me without speaking. I agreed, I said softly. That part is on me. Admitting that hurt. But another truth followed close behind. I had been chosen because I was silent. Because I was easy to frame, easy to guide, easy to forget. I will not forget this, I promised myself. The ceiling stared back without judgment. Somewhere inside me, something fragile hardened. I did not know what it would become. I only knew that the invitation had opened a door I could not close. And whatever waited beyond it was already reaching for me. I pressed my hand to my chest and breathed slowly. I am still here, I said. The words sounded small, but they were mine. Sleep came late. Morning would come anyway. And when it did, I would wake changed even if no one else noticed yet. That truth settled deep, quiet, and irreversible inside me. Forever. I stood in front of the mirror and barely recognized myself. The dress hugged a version of me that did not exist in my real life. My hands adjusted fabric meant for someone braver, louder, chosen. You will wear this, my employer had said earlier, placing the hanger in my hands. I do not usually wear red, I replied. Red photographs well, came the answer. Photographs for who? For the story, my employer said. That word stayed with me as I dressed. Story. I felt like a character written by someone else. When we arrived, cameras flashed before I could breathe. A hand rested lightly on my back. Smile, my employer whispered. I smiled. Closer, came the quiet instruction. I stepped in. Perfect, my employer said, voice warm for the audience. A man approached with a practiced grin. You move fast, he said. I do not understand, I replied. She does not either, my employer laughed. That is the charm. The laugh earned approval. Mine earned silence. Another woman leaned close. Temporary? She asked. Yes, my employer answered again. I nodded like I agreed. You clean up well, someone said. Thank you, I replied, unsure if it was praise or inspection. I heard she lives in, another voice added. Efficient, my employer replied. I felt my spine straighten. I am standing right here. The smile beside me tightened. They mean no harm. It feels like harm, I whispered. Lower your voice, came the reply. Music swelled. Applause followed a speech. My employer clapped confidently. I followed half a beat behind. You are doing fine, my employer said, squeezing my hand for cameras. The grip loosened the moment attention shifted. Arrival approached. Bold choice tonight. Necessary choice, my employer answered. Necessary. I swallowed. The rival looked at me. Do you enjoy this? Yes, I said automatically. Interesting, the rival replied. We moved tables. Conversations changed. I watched power move like currency. Looks were traded. Words were calculated. Stay here, my employer said, stepping away. How long? I asked. Until I return. I stood alone holding a glass I did not drink. You must be new, a woman said kindly. Yes, I replied. You look nervous. I am. That means you still feel things, she said. My employer returned suddenly. Ready? For what? I asked. For introductions. I followed again. This is my guest, my employer announced. Again no name. A man laughed. A beautiful accessory. The word accessory sliced deep. I am a person, I said quietly. My employer chuckled. She is sensitive. Applause followed a joke I did not hear. Later, during photos, a ring was slipped onto my finger. What is this? I whispered. Just for the shot, my employer said. It feels personal. It is not. The camera flashed. The ring was removed. I stared at the empty space it left. That ring belonged to my mother, a woman said nearby. My chest tightened. Dinner arrived. I barely tasted anything. You are quiet, my employer said. I am tired, I replied. Do not be, came the soft command. A contract folder appeared on the table. Sign later, my employer said to someone else. I saw my name on the edge. What is that? I asked. Nothing you need to worry about. My throat dried. Why is my name there? My employer's smile stayed fixed. Because you matter. The lie landed gently. A toast was raised. Glasses lifted. To image, someone said. To stability, another added. I lifted my glass last. Are you happy? A stranger asked me softly. I do not know, I answered honestly. That means no, they said. The night stretched. Compliments mixed with cuts. You are lucky, one woman said. Lucky how? I asked. To be chosen. Chosen felt like owned. In a quiet corner, I finally asked, why am I really here? My employer did not hesitate. You softened the narrative. My feelings? I asked. Not relevant tonight. My chest burned. You said this was temporary. It still is. For you, I whispered. A laugh interrupted us. Time for the final photos. My employer stepped closer, voice gentle again. Please. I nodded. The cameras caught everything. The smile. The posture. The compliance. Inside something cracked. I understood then. I was not invited. I was displayed. I was proof. I was cover. As applause filled the room, I clapped once, then stopped. Are you all right? My employer asked. No, I said softly. Not now, came the warning. I looked at the stage, the lights, the people applauding a version of me that did not exist. I smiled because I was trained to survive. But behind that smile, a seed took root. It was small, quiet, dangerous, and it whispered a question I could not unhear. If I was only a symbol tonight, what would I become if I chose myself tomorrow? The house felt quieter after the gala, like it was holding its breath. My heels came off at the door. My feet ached, but my chest hurt more. I thought the night was over. I thought the worst part had passed. I walked down the hall to return the jewelry tray. The ring sat in its box, cold and innocent. I hesitated outside the study when I heard voices. I told you it would work, my employer said. Another voice replied, amused. Better than expected. I stayed still. She fit the role perfectly, my employer continued. Non-threatening. Clean image. No history. So you chose her on purpose, the other voice said. Of course, my employer replied. A nanny draws sympathy. Investors relax. I pressed my hand to the wall. Did she suspect? The voice asked. No, came the answer. She is grateful to be included. A pause followed. You are cold, the voice said. I am efficient, my employer replied. I stepped back, heart pounding. The ring box felt heavier in my hand. I walked away quietly, but the words followed me. Non-threatening. Clean image. Raw. I sat on my bed and stared at the floor. My trust collapsed without sound. I replayed every smile, every instruction, every moment I thought mattered. I stood up before fear could stop me. The study door was still open. I heard you, I said. Both voices stopped. The other person turned, startled. I will leave, they said quickly. The door closed behind them. My employer looked at me calmly. You should be resting. You planned it, I said. Yes, came the answer. You used me, I said. I positioned you, my employer corrected. For what? I asked. For leverage, came the reply. My throat tightened. You never told me. You were not required to know. I trusted you, I said. That was unwise. The words landed harder than shouting. I thought you respected me, I said. I respect your usefulness, my employer replied. I laughed once, sharp and broken. That is not respect. This is business, came the explanation. I am not a contract, I said. No, my employer agreed. You are an asset. I held up the ring box. Was this part of it too? Yes. My feelings? I asked. Acceptable collateral, came the calm response. My chest burned. You never even asked. There was no need. I took a step back. Did anything tonight matter to you? Yes, my employer said. The outcome. No apology, I said softly. I am explaining, came the reply. That is worse, I said. Silence stretched. You were paid, my employer added. I was humiliated, I replied. You agreed to attend, came the reminder. I did not agree to be used, I said. You benefited, my employer insisted. I survived, I corrected. My employer studied me like a problem. You are emotional. I am human, I said. That complicates things. I nodded slowly. Now I understand. Good, my employer said. Understanding brings closure. No, I replied. It brings clarity. I placed the ring box on the desk. I will never wear this again. That was never required. I felt something break cleanly inside me. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Clean and final. You never saw me, I said. That is not accurate, my employer replied. I saw potential. In silence, I said. In obedience, came the correction. I stepped away from the desk. You chose me because I would not fight back. Yes, my employer said honestly. The honesty hurt most of all. I am done, I said. With what? With believing you were different. My employer sighed. Do not be dramatic. I am being precise, I said. I turned toward the door. You will still do your job, my employer said. I will care for the child, I replied. Nothing more. That is acceptable, came the reply. I stopped. You really do not regret it? No, my employer said. That answer settled everything. I left the room without slamming the door. The quiet followed me. My hands shook but my steps stayed steady. In my room I sat on the bed and stared at my palms. They looked the same. I did not feel the same. I was never equal, I whispered. I thought about every time I stayed quiet to keep peace. Every time I said yes to survive. I was useful, I said. The word tasted bitter. I looked at a photo on my nightstand. The child smiling at the park. Innocent. Unaware. I will protect you, I said softly. But I would protect myself too. In the hallway, footsteps passed my door. No knock came. No concern followed. That was the final proof. I lay back and stared at the ceiling. The image of the gala replayed differently now. The smiles looked sharper. The warmth looked staged. I see it now, I said. The betrayal was not loud. It was calculated. And I had been chosen because breaking me would be easy. I closed my eyes but sleep did not come. Something inside me stayed awake. Watching. Remembering. Learning. I closed my door and leaned against it until my knees gave out. The silence hit harder than any word spoken that night. My chest tightened then cracked. I slid to the floor and pressed my hands over my mouth, but the sound still escaped. I trusted you, I whispered. The words felt stupid now. My phone lay on the bed. I stared at it like it might accuse me too. Why didn't I see it? I asked the empty room. I laughed once, then cried harder. My body shook in waves I could not control. Every moment replayed. Every smile. Every quiet command. You are doing fine. Smile. Stay close. I had obeyed all of it. I stayed quiet, I said. I stayed small. My head dropped forward. Tears splashed onto the floor. I needed this job, I said. You knew that. The truth hurt most when I named it. My safety. My rent. My food. All tied to someone who saw me as leverage. You controlled everything, I whispered. I crawled onto the bed and curled inward. My hands clutched the pillow like it could keep me from breaking apart completely. I could leave, I said suddenly. The thought came sharp and fast. I could disappear. I sat up, heart racing. I could pack tonight. But then reality answered. Where would I go? I asked. Silence replied. I have no savings, I said. No backup. My voice cracked again. You knew that too. The betrayal felt deeper because it was quiet. No shouting. No chaos. Just calm decisions made over my head. I was convenient, I said. Disposable. I grabbed the ring box from my drawer and opened it. Empty. The space where the ring had been felt symbolic now. Proof, I whispered. That's all I was. My chest tightened until breathing hurt. I should have said no, I said. But another voice followed. You couldn't. That truth hurt worse. You needed the job, I said. You needed stability. My hands shook as I wiped my face. I hate that, I admitted. I stood and paced the room. For steps. Turn. For steps back. I let it happen, I said. Anger rose, then collapsed into exhaustion. I was careful, I whispered. I followed rules. That had been my mistake. I sank onto the bed again and stared at the wall. I feel stupid, I said. The word echoed. My phone buzzed. I flinched. Another message buzzed again. I looked down slowly. A name I did not expect. Are you okay? The message read. I stared at it. Someone had noticed. I saw you leave early, the message continued. You didn't look well. My throat tightened. I'm fine, I typed, then deleted it. I typed again. I'm not. The reply came fast. I thought so. Tears spilled again, quieter this time. I'm sorry, I typed. I shouldn't say this. You can, the message replied. I'm listening. I pressed my phone to my chest. I felt invisible, I typed. You weren't, came the answer. The words landed gently. I was treated like a prop, I wrote. I saw that, the reply said. It wasn't right. My breathing slowed. I don't know what to do, I admitted. That makes sense, came the reply. You were put in an impossible place. I closed my eyes. Thank you, I typed. Anytime, the message said. You matter. I stared at the screen long after. Someone had seen me. Not the dress. Not the image. Me. I lay back and stared at the ceiling again. The pain was still there, heavy and sharp, but it shifted slightly. I'm not crazy, I whispered. The room felt less tight. But the weight remained. What if I stay? I asked myself. The thought scared me. What if I leave? I asked next. That scared me too. Both choices felt dangerous. I don't know how to win, I said. I picked up the child's photo from my nightstand. A smile frozen in time. I can't abandon you, I whispered. The thought of leaving felt selfish and impossible. I'm trapped, I said softly. The words settled deep. My phone buzzed once more. If you need help, the message read, ask. I stared at that line. Help. I had never asked before. The ceiling blurred as tears filled my eyes again. I don't know how, I whispered. I set the phone down and curled onto my side. I feel small, I said. The room did not argue. I feel used. The room stayed silent. I feel underestimated. That word lingered. Underestimated. I repeated it slowly. Underestimated. Something shifted faintly beneath the pain. Not strength. Not yet. Just awareness. I wiped my face and took a slow breath. I can't do anything tonight, I said. My body was done. But my mind stayed awake. I thought about the calm voice that explained instead of apologized. I thought about how easy it had been for him. I will never forget this, I whispered. The room held my promise. Sleep came in fragments. Dreams came sharp. When morning hovered close, I opened my eyes. My chest still hurt. My hands still shook. But something else stayed with me too. Someone had seen me. And once seen, I could not unsee myself. That truth waited quietly. So did everything else. I woke up before the alarm and did not cry. That surprised me. My eyes felt swollen, my chest sore, but the tears stayed where they were. Something inside me had gone still. I'm done falling apart, I whispered. The words sounded unfamiliar. Not brave. Just firm. I sat up and stared at my hands. They were steady now. I won't say anything, I told myself. I won't warn anyone. Silence felt like armor. Down the hall, a door opened. Good morning, my employer said casually. Good morning, I replied. My voice sounded the same. That was important. You seem tired, my employer said. I'm fine, I answered. The lie slid out easily. I hated that I had learned how. Breakfast passed like every other morning. Schedule stays the same, my employer said. That works, I replied. Nothing changed outside. Inside, everything did. As I cleaned up, I listened differently. I noticed tones. Pauses. What was said and what never was. You handled the gala well, my employer said. I did what was required, I replied. Good, came the response. That word no longer meant approval. It meant use. I nodded and kept moving. Later, while the child played, I sat nearby with a book I had already read twice. I did not turn the pages. I thought instead. I've been watching you for years, I said silently. Board calls overheard. Contracts discussed at dinner. Arguments framed as strategy. I know how this world works, I realized. Power did not shout. It decided quietly. I remembered the rivals at the gala. The way voices softened around money. The way apologies never appeared, only explanations. They think I don't understand, I whispered. That belief protected them. My phone buzzed. You okay today? The message asked. Yes, I typed. Thank you for yesterday. Anytime, came the reply. Be careful. I stared at the word careful. I will be, I typed. That was a promise. At lunch, a folder sat on the counter. Those need sorting, my employer said. I opened it slowly. Numbers, names, patterns. You trust me with this? I asked. Yes, came the reply without thought. Trust or convenience. I sorted carefully and remembered everything. Information is power, I thought. I had been surrounded by it. That afternoon I overheard a call. She's compliant, my employer said. No risk. I did not react. I am not invisible, I said silently. You just never looked. I tucked that sentence away. That night, alone again, I sat on my bed without collapsing. I don't want revenge, I said out loud. The word felt heavy. I want choice. I opened my laptop and searched quietly. Courses, certifications, skills I could build without asking permission. This is possible, I whispered. My chest tightened, not with pain but focus. I picked up the child's photo again. I won't burn everything down, I said. I won't hurt you. That mattered. But I won't stay small, I added. I thought about leaving immediately. No, I decided. Not yet. Leaving now would mean running. I won't run, I said. I closed the laptop and lay back. I will prepare, I whispered. Preparation felt powerful. The house creaked softly around me. I thought about how many secrets I had carried without knowing their value. They underestimated me, I said. The word came back. Underestimated. That was their mistake. The next day followed routine. Can you stay late? My employer asked. Yes, I replied. The answer did not mean surrender anymore. It meant observation. That evening I listened to another call. We're safe for now, my employer said. I smiled faintly in the dark hallway. For now. In my room I wrote a list on paper. Skills to learn. People to watch. Silence to keep. This is not war, I told myself. It's growth. The difference mattered. I did not imagine confrontations. I imagined options. I want doors, I whispered. Not weapons. My phone buzzed again. Checking in, the message said. I'm okay, I replied. I'm thinking. That's good, came the answer. Thinking changes things. I stared at the screen. Yes, I typed. It does. I turned off the light and lay still. My heart beat slower. My mind stayed sharp. I will never be powerless again, I said quietly. The words settled deep. Outside nothing shifted. Inside a line had been crossed. I had not announced it. I had not threatened anyone. But a decision had been made. And decisions, I had learned, were the most dangerous form of power. I closed my eyes. Tomorrow would look the same. That was the advantage. Because only one person in this house knew the truth. And it was me. Nothing changed on the surface. That was the point. Can you review this? My employer asked one morning, sliding papers across the counter. Yes, I replied. My hands did not shake anymore. You're efficient, my employer said. I try, I answered. That word still meant obedience to him. To me it meant patience. Days passed quietly. I worked. I listened. I learned. Call moved to Thursday, my employer said. Noted, I replied. Every call taught me something. Every silence too. At night I studied. Numbers first. Then structure. Then language. I learned how decisions were framed and how blame disappeared. This is strategy, I whispered to myself. I remembered who I had been before survival became my only skill. Curious, sure. Ambitious in ways I never named out loud. I buried you, I said softly. But you're still here. My phone buzzed. Coffee tomorrow? The message asked. Yes, I replied. We met quietly. No attention drawn. You look different, the person said. How? I asked. Quieter, came the answer. But stronger. I smiled faintly. I'm learning. Be careful, they warned. People like him don't forgive awareness. I'm not seeking forgiveness, I replied. Another night, another screen, another lesson. This contract favors silence, I said out loud. I started recognizing traps. At work I stayed calm. Why are you smiling? My employer asked once. I enjoy my work, I said. That was true in a new way. I met another person through a message chain. Someone observant. Older. Tired. You remind me of myself, they said. That worries me, I replied. It should, they answered. But it should also guide you. They taught me restraint. Power doesn't rush, they said. It waits. I listened. At home I practiced control. You're very composed lately, my employer said. I'm rested, I replied. The lie hid growth. I kept notes. Not evidence. Patterns. They underestimate consistency, I whispered. That was my advantage. One afternoon, a warning came disguised as kindness. Don't overthink things, my employer said. I don't, I replied. The look lingered. Good, came the response. I stayed invisible. Inside I expanded. I reconnected with discipline, with curiosity, with ambition that didn't need applause. I don't need them to notice, I said. I needed them comfortable. Another message arrived late. You're changing, it said. Yes, I typed. Quietly. That's the dangerous kind, came the reply. I closed my laptop and breathed slowly. Around the child I stayed gentle. You okay? I asked softly. A smile answered me. I'm doing this right, I said. At dinner, voices rose in the other room. She won't push, my employer said. I stirred soup calmly. No risk, came the reply. I memorized the sentence. Later, alone, I whispered it back. No risk. I thought about how often strength was mistaken for silence. They think I'm harmless, I said. That belief wrapped around me like cover. I met another mentor briefly. Sharp eyes. Careful words. Don't rush transformation, they said. Let it settle. I'm not in a hurry, I replied. That was true. I wasn't building a moment. I was building myself. One night I caught my reflection again. You look steady, I said. No dress. No spotlight. No approval. Just me. At work the next day my employer handed me another folder. Handle this, they said. Yes, I replied. Inside I smiled. They kept handing me tools. They kept calling it trust. I kept calling it opportunity. Late that night I stood by the window. I'm not angry, I said. That surprised me. I'm focused. The house slept. The people inside it felt safe. That was the final proof. I had become exactly what they overlooked. And I intended to stay that way. For now. The shift did not announce itself. It never does. Did you move the meeting? My employer asked one morning. No, I replied calmly. It was rescheduled yesterday. I don't remember approving that, came the response. You did, I said. During the call. A pause followed. Oh, my employer said. Right. That pause stayed with me. Small things followed. Delays. Missed details. Questions that never used to surface. You didn't remind me, my employer said one evening. I assumed you remembered, I replied. That had always been expected of me before. I stopped filling emotional gaps. I stopped smoothing edges. I did my job. Only my job. Why does this feel off? My employer asked aloud once. I kept my eyes on the screen. Off how? I don't know, came the answer. Something feels unbalanced. I almost smiled. Others noticed first. You're different, someone said quietly in passing. Am I? I asked. You don't hover anymore, they replied. I didn't realize I was, I said. They studied me longer than before. Opportunities came quietly. Would you be interested? A message asked. In what? I replied. Something part-time. Remote. I stared at the screen. Yes, I typed after a moment. Preparation met timing. At home, tension grew subtle. You're not as available, my employer said. I'm efficient, I replied. That's not what I meant. I waited. You used to anticipate things, came the follow-up. I still do, I said. Just not everything. Silence followed. At dinner, a fork clinked too loudly. You okay? My employer asked. Yes, I replied. The question came again later. You seem distant. I'm focused, I answered. That was true. Cracks appeared in places I never touched. You didn't warn me, my employer snapped during a call. I sent the update, I replied evenly. Oh, came the response again. That word returned often now. Others stepped closer. Your insight helped, someone said. I observed, I replied. That's more than most, they said. I noticed how eyes lingered now. How my words landed heavier. You're calm, someone told me. I practice, I replied. At night I wrote less and thought more. Karma doesn't rush, I whispered. It tilted. My employer paced more. Things are slipping, they said. Maybe, I replied. That answer earned a look. You don't seem concerned. I adapt, I said. That was new. One afternoon I overheard a call. She's not filling the gaps anymore, my employer said. Pause. No, she's still capable. Another pause. Just quieter. I stayed where I was. Later, a question came that never had before. What do you think? My employer asked me. I looked up slowly. About? This decision. I considered carefully. I think it depends on risk tolerance, I said. The room went still. That's insightful, my employer said. I nodded once. The next day an envelope waited for me. Take a look, someone said. Inside was an offer. Small. Strategic. I'll consider it, I replied. At home the atmosphere shifted again. You're being noticed, my employer said. I always was, I replied. That landed sharper than intended. I mean, differently, came the correction. Yes, I said. No apology followed. Karma whispered louder. Why didn't you tell me? My employer asked one night. I didn't think you needed it, I replied. That used to be my role. The child noticed too. You smile less, came the small voice. I smile inside, I replied softly. That was mostly true. I stayed observant. I did not enjoy the imbalance. I respected it. This is natural, I told myself. Power shifting rarely felt dramatic. It felt quiet. At a gathering someone approached me first. You handled yourself well last time, they said. Thank you, I replied. You see more than you say. I nodded. My employer watched from across the room. Later in the car silence stretched. You've changed, my employer said. Yes, I replied. Why? I considered. Because I learned, I said. From that moment questions followed. Are you planning something? No, I replied honestly. I'm responding. That answer unsettled him. At home another opportunity arrived. Call me, the message read. I did. We've been watching, the voice said. I don't perform, I replied. We know, they said. You observe. I ended the call slowly. In the kitchen my employer watched me. Who was that? They asked. A contact, I replied. For what? For growth. That word hung between us. You're very confident lately, my employer said. I'm prepared, I replied. Not cruel. Not loud. Just steady. That night I stood by the window again. I didn't push, I whispered. I hadn't. The balance shifted anyway. That was karma. It did not punish. It revealed. Behind me a voice broke the quiet. We need to talk, my employer said. I turned slowly. Yes, I replied. And for the first time I saw uncertainty in his eyes. That was when I knew. The whisper had been heard. It happened in a room I was never meant to enter. Why are you here? My employer asked, not hiding the surprise. I was invited, I replied. That was true. A seat waited at the table. Empty. Expectant. You can sit, someone else said. I did. The room went quiet in a way that felt new. This is informal, my employer added quickly. I understand, I said. My voice stayed calm. That seemed to bother him. So, someone said, turning toward me, you've been observing our operations. Yes, I replied. For how long? They asked. A while, I said. My employer shifted. You never mentioned this, he said. You never asked, I replied. That landed harder than anything I could have planned. Go on, another voice said. I spoke carefully. Not boldly. Clearly. I noticed patterns, I said. Where decisions stall. Where resources overlap. Heads nodded. That's accurate, someone said. My employer watched me like I was unfamiliar territory. This perspective is helpful, another voice added. Thank you, I replied. I felt fear then. Sharp and real. But it passed. Confidence followed. Quiet. Controlled. You've been holding back, my employer said later, once we were alone. I was waiting, I replied. For what? He asked. For the right moment, I said. That wasn't your place, he snapped. It is now, I replied. Silence stretched. You're overstepping, he said. I'm contributing, I replied. That's not the same. It is when people listen, I said. They were listening now. In the hallway someone stopped me. You surprised us, they said. I didn't intend to, I replied. That's what makes it impressive. The word echoed. Impressive. At home tension filled the space. You didn't warn me, my employer said. I wasn't required to, I replied. That sentence had changed sides. You're changing the dynamic, he said. I'm existing within it, I replied. The difference mattered. Another meeting followed days later. This time stay, someone said when I moved to leave. My employer stiffened. Stay, they repeated. I stayed. You've been managing more than we realized, a voice said. I've been present, I replied. My employer spoke less. I spoke only when needed. When I did, people listened. Fear brushed my skin again. What if this cost me everything? I wondered. Then calm returned. I already lost what mattered, I told myself. Later that night, my employer confronted me. You're being noticed, he said. I know, I replied. That's dangerous. For you, I said gently. He stared at me. You're not protecting me anymore, he said. I never should have, I replied. The truth sat heavy between us. I gave you opportunities, he said. You used me, I replied. That's not fair. It's accurate, I said. He looked away first. The next day an email arrived. Please join us. No title. No explanation. I joined. We'd like your input, someone said. On what? I asked. Future planning. My employer's jaw tightened. I'll help where I can, I said. That was all. At lunch, whispers followed me. She's sharp. She sees things. She's calm. I ate quietly. I didn't enjoy it. I accepted it. In the afternoon, my employer stopped me again. You're not asking permission anymore, he said. No, I replied. That's unsettling. It's necessary, I said. You could have told me. You wouldn't have listened, I replied. That hurt him. I could see it. It didn't stop me. At home, I found the child's photo again. I'm still here, I whispered. That grounded me. Another message arrived. You're stepping into something bigger, it read. I know, I replied. Are you ready? Yes, I typed after a pause. Fear flickered again. I let it stay. That night, my employer spoke softer. I don't recognize you, he said. I recognize myself, I replied. That ended the conversation. In the mirror, I saw it clearly. Not power. Presence. I wasn't louder. I wasn't cruel. I simply took up space. And no one could put me back where I used to fit. The next meeting began without him speaking first. I did. Here's what I see, I said. They listened. From the corner of my eye, I saw him. Confused. Uncomfortable. Human. The balance had shifted. Not because I pushed. Because I stood. And I knew with sudden clarity that nothing would ever be the same again. It happened in a room I was never meant to enter. Why are you here? My employer asked, not hiding the surprise. I was invited, I replied. That was true. A seat waited at the table. Empty. Expectant. You can sit, someone else said. I did. The room went quiet in a way that felt new. This is informal, my employer added quickly. I understand, I said. My voice stayed calm. That seemed to bother him. So, someone said, turning toward me, you've been observing our operations. Yes, I replied. For how long? They asked. A while, I said. My employer shifted. You never mentioned this, he said. You never asked, I replied. That landed harder than anything I could have planned. Go on, another voice said. I spoke carefully. Not boldly. Clearly. I noticed patterns, I said. Where decisions stall. Where resources overlap. Heads nodded. That's accurate, someone said. My employer watched me like I was unfamiliar territory. This perspective is helpful, another voice added. Thank you, I replied. I felt fear then. Sharp and real. But it passed. Confidence followed. Quiet. Controlled. You've been holding back, my employer said later, once we were alone. I was waiting, I replied. For what? He asked. For the right moment, I said. That wasn't your place, he snapped. It is now, I replied. Silence stretched. You're overstepping, he said. I'm contributing, I replied. That's not the same. It is when people listen, I said. They were listening now. In the hallway someone stopped me. You surprised us, they said. I didn't intend to, I replied. That's what makes it impressive. The word echoed. Impressive. At home, tension filled the space. You didn't warn me, my employer said. I wasn't required to, I replied. That sentence had changed sides. You're changing the dynamic, he said. I'm existing within it, I replied. The difference mattered. Another meeting followed days later. This time, stay, someone said when I moved to leave. My employer stiffened. Stay, they repeated. I stayed. You've been managing more than we realized, a voice said. I've been present, I replied. My employer spoke less. I spoke only when needed. When I did, people listened. Fear brushed my skin again. What if this cost me everything? I wondered. Then calm returned. I already lost what mattered, I told myself. Later that night, my employer confronted me. You're being noticed, he said. I know, I replied. That's dangerous. For you, I said gently. He stared at me. You're not protecting me anymore, he said. I never should have, I replied. The truth sat heavy between us. I gave you opportunities, he said. You used me, I replied. That's not fair. It's accurate, I said. He looked away first. The next day an email arrived. Please join us. No title. No explanation. I joined. We'd like your input, someone said. On what? I asked. Future planning. My employer's jaw tightened. I'll help where I can, I said. That was all. At lunch, whispers followed me. She's sharp. She sees things. She's calm. I ate quietly. I didn't enjoy it. I accepted it. In the afternoon, my employer stopped me again. You're not asking permission anymore, he said. No, I replied. That's unsettling. It's necessary, I said. You could have told me. You wouldn't have listened, I replied. That hurt him. I could see it. It didn't stop me. At home, I found the child's photo again. I'm still here, I whispered. That grounded me. Another message arrived. You're stepping into something bigger, it read. I know, I replied. Are you ready? Yes, I typed after a pause. Fear flickered again. I let it stay. That night, my employer spoke softer. I don't recognize you, he said. I recognize myself, I replied. That ended the conversation. In the mirror, I saw it clearly. Not power. Presence. I wasn't louder. I wasn't cruel. I simply took up space. And no one could put me back where I used to fit. The next meeting began without him speaking first. I did. Here's what I see, I said. They listened. From the corner of my eye, I saw him. Confused. Uncomfortable. Human. The balance had shifted. Not because I pushed. Because I stood. And I knew with sudden clarity that nothing would ever be the same again. The room was full before I entered it. That's everyone, someone said. I paused at the door. You're late, my employer said quietly. I was invited, I replied. That sentence mattered now. I took my seat. The table felt smaller than before. Eyes moved. Whispers stopped. We'll begin, someone said. The screen lit up with numbers. Familiar ones. I had seen them before. We've had concerns, a voice said. About transparency. Silence followed. My employer shifted beside me. We've always operated cleanly, he said. I waited. And yet, another voice added, patterns suggest otherwise. Eyes turned toward me. Would you like to speak? Someone asked. I felt my pulse in my throat. Yes, I replied. I stood slowly. No notes. No script. I won't accuse anyone, I said. I won't dramatize this. The room leaned in. I'll only explain what I observed. My employer's jaw tightened. I lived close to these operations, I continued. Not by title. By proximity. A murmur passed. I noticed decisions made quietly. Narratives shaped carefully. I paused. I was part of one, I said. The silence deepened. I was presented publicly as something I was not. My employer spoke sharply. That's inappropriate. I looked at him. I'm not naming you, I said. I'm naming the system. That stopped him. I was used to soften perception, I continued. Without consent. Without context. A breath left my chest. I stayed silent because survival required it. Someone shifted uncomfortably. But silence is also participation, I said. And I'm done participating. The room felt different now. Are you saying you were coerced? Someone asked. I'm saying I was positioned, I replied. And that positioning benefited more than one party. My employer stood. This is misleading. I didn't raise my voice. It's accurate, I said. That word echoed again. Accurate. I reached into my bag and placed something on the table. The ring box. This was worn for optics, I said. Then removed. Pause. It belonged to someone else, I added. That mattered to me. My employer stared at the box like it had betrayed him. I'm not here for revenge, I said. I'm here for clarity. Someone spoke. Why now? Because I'm no longer dependent on silence, I replied. That landed hard. You're implying misuse of power, another voice said. I'm describing imbalance, I replied. The difference mattered. My employer laughed once, strained. You're overreaching. I'm standing, I replied. That drew a few nods. Did you approve this narrative? Someone asked him. He hesitated. That's not relevant, he said. It is, they replied. I stayed quiet. I made decisions, he said. Strategic ones. Without disclosure? Someone pressed. He didn't answer. I felt something shift. I won't stay if this continues, someone said. The word consequences hung heavy. I didn't want this, my employer said, finally looking at me. You could have come to me. I did, I replied. You explained instead of listening. That memory cut deep. I didn't know you felt this way, he said. You never asked, I replied. Silence again. I want to be clear, I said. I'm not seeking punishment. The room waited. I'm seeking acknowledgement. That was all. A chair scraped. We need a review, someone said. Another nodded. Immediately. My employer sat slowly. This is becoming something else, he said. It already was, I replied. The meeting ended without applause. People avoided my eyes. Others met them directly. You were brave, someone whispered as I passed. I was honest, I replied. In the hallway my employer caught up to me. You embarrassed me, he said. I told the truth, I replied. You didn't have to do it like that. I had to do it publicly, I said. That's where the damage lived. He looked tired. You've changed, he said. Yes, I replied. Do you hate me? He asked. I paused. No, I said. I see you. That seemed to hurt more. Outside air hit my face hard. I breathed deeply. My phone buzzed. That took courage, the message read. I was scared, I typed back. That's why it mattered, came the reply. I leaned against the wall. For the first time my silence had weight. Inside the building voices rose again. Decisions were being questioned. Not because I demanded it, because I refused to disappear. I looked down at my hands. They were steady. I felt seen. Not admired. Not pitted. Seen. Behind me the doors closed. Inside power recalibrated. I walked away slowly. I didn't know what would follow. I only knew one thing. I would never be invisible again. And whatever came next would require a choice. From both of us. That thought followed me into the quiet. Heavy. Unfinished. Waiting. I said nothing when he asked me to sit. He closed the door slowly. I owe you honesty, he said. I folded my hands. I am listening, I said. I was wrong, he said. I waited. I used you, he said. My chest tightened. I know, I said. I never thought you would hear, he said. I heard everything, I said. He looked down. I was afraid, he said. Of what? I asked. Of losing control, he said. I already lost myself, I said. He swallowed. I did not see you as fragile, he said. You saw me as useful, I said. Yes, he said. That is not better, I said. I know, he said. I kept explaining, I said. I thought explanations were enough, he said. They were not, I said. I regret it, he said. I believe you, I said. His eyes lifted. That does not change it, I said. I am not asking it to, he said. Then why are we here? I asked. Because silence was easier, he said. For you, I said. Yes, he said. I carried your image, I said. You protected me, he said. I protected myself, I said. I confused the two, he said. I noticed, I said. He rubbed his hands. I never apologized, he said. You explained, I said. I am sorry, he said. The words landed late. I hear regret, I said. I feel it, he said. Feeling is private, I said. Damage is not, he said. I nodded. I do not want forgiveness, he said. Then stop reaching for it, I said. He leaned back. I underestimated you, he said. You underestimated my silence, I said. Yes, he said. I thought quiet meant agreement, he said. It meant survival, I said. I see that now, he said. Seeing now is expensive, I said. I am paying, he said. Not fully, I said. He breathed out. I lost something, he said. You lost comfort, I said. I lost trust, I said. I never deserved it, he said. You accepted it, I said. I was careless, he said. I was dependent, I said. That imbalance mattered, he said. It defined everything, I said. He looked at the contract on the table. I kept this, he said. So did I said. You memorized it, he said. I lived it, I said. I wish I had chosen differently, he said. So do I said. He stood. I am not asking you to stay, he said. I am not asking permission to leave, I said. He nodded. I regret the night, he said. I regret the pattern, I said. I regret who I was, he said. I respect who I became, I said. That hurts, he said. It should, I said. He stepped closer. I am human, he said. So am I said. I failed you, he said. You defined me, I said. I never meant to, he said. Intent does not erase impact, I said. I know, he said. I will not punish you, I said. That scares me more, he said. I will not save you, I said. I am not asking, he said. I am choosing myself, I said. I see that, he said. I am calm, I said. I am not, he said. That is new, I said. He looked at the ring on his desk. I never offered it, he said. You offered proximity, I said. I confused that with care, he said. So did I said. I wish I could undo it, he said. I wish I had spoken sooner, I said. Silence stretched. I will step back, he said. Do that, I said. I will respect your distance, he said. Respect should have come first, I said. I am late, he said. Yes, I said. I regret waiting, he said. I regret believing, I said. I do not expect resolution, he said. Neither do I said. He opened the door. I am sorry, he said. I am different, I said. I walked past him. The hallway felt narrow. My steps were steady. I did not look back. I will not chase you, he said. I am not running, I said. You changed the room, he said. I changed myself, I said. I remember when you arrived, he said. I remember why, I said. You needed work, he said. You needed quiet, I said. I needed control, he said. I needed safety, I said. That difference matters, he said. It always did, I said. He pointed to a framed photo. I kept that there, he said. A reminder, I said. Of responsibility, he said. Of leverage, I said. He flinched. I did not see it that way, he said. I did, I said. I am ashamed, he said. Shame is a beginning, I said. Is it enough, he asked. Enough comes later, I said. He exhaled slowly. I watched you grow, he said. You watched without listening, I said. I listened when it benefited me, he said. That is not listening, I said. He nodded again. I am trying now, he said. Trying does not rewrite, I said. It can inform, he said. For your future, I said. Yes, he said. Not mine, I said. I accept that, he said. Do you? I asked. I am learning, he said. Learning feels uncomfortable, I said. I deserve that, he said. I am not here to teach, I said. I know, he said. I am here to close a door, I said. Permanently, he asked. I do not know yet, I said. That uncertainty is mine, he said. It is, I said. I will respect it, he said. Show me, I said. He stepped back again. I will stop explaining, he said. Good, I said. I will listen if you speak, he said. I will speak when it matters, I said. I regret the imbalance, he said. I carry the memory, I said. I regret the silence, he said. I broke it, I said. You did, he said. I am proud of that, I said. So am I, he said. That does not heal it, I said. No, he said. But it changes the ending, he said. Endings are choices, I said. Then choose well, he said. I already am, I said. He glanced at the desk again. Do you want the contract? He asked. Keep it, I said. It no longer defines me, I said. What does? He asked. My boundaries, I said. My voice, I said. My future, I said. He stood still. I will not interfere, he said. Do not, I said. I will not benefit, he said. Do not, I said. I will not claim credit, he said. Never again, I said. He nodded deeply. I am sorry, he said. I accept the words, I said. I do not erase the wound, I said. I understand, he said. I am leaving now, I said. Take care, he said. I already am, I said. I stepped into the light. My hands did not shake. My heart did. Not from fear. From clarity. The regret stayed behind me. The choice stayed with me. The silence ahead felt heavy. And unfinished. I may speak again, I said. When, he asked. When it costs nothing, I said. That sounds final, he said. It sounds honest, I said. He did not reply. I paused at the doorway. I do not hate you, I said. That is mercy, he said. It is discipline, I said. I walked out. The door remained open. Regret breathed behind it. Power waited ahead. I did not choose forgiveness. I did not choose revenge. I chose distance. That choice demanded patience. And patience demanded time. The next conversation would decide everything, and it would not belong to him anymore now alone. I stood alone with the decision longer than I expected. Not because I was confused, because I was honest. I can make this easy, a voice inside me said. And lose myself, another answered. I sat at the small table. The contract lay folded. The ring sat beside it. If you stay, I said softly, you will be comfortable. If I leave, I said, I will be free. Comfort whispered first. You already know this life, it said. You understand the rules, it said. You can survive here, it said. I survived by shrinking, I said. Self-respect waited longer. You learned, it said. You grew, it said. You saw the truth, it said. I did, I said. My phone vibrated. You do not have to decide today, he said. I already have, I said. That sounds final, he said. It sounds clear, I said. I looked at the ring. You could wear it, he said. You would never worry again, he said. I worried every day, I said. About money, he asked. About disappearing, I said. Silence followed. I changed, he said. So did I said. You can stay and define the terms, he said. I already did, I said. Then why does this hurt, he asked. Because attachment does not vanish when respect arrives, I said. I cared, he said. You controlled, I said. I regret that, he said. Regret does not require my return, I said. You would be safe, he said. I would be small, I said. You would be admired, he said. I would be borrowed, I said. You would have influence, he said. I would owe silence, I said. He paused. You are choosing pain, he said. I am choosing myself, I said. That feels cruel, he said. It feels necessary, I said. I stood. The chair scraped the floor. You could take time, he said. I took years, I said. I see strength, he said. You saw usefulness before, I said. I see both now, he said. That is too late, I said. He exhaled. Is this punishment, he asked. No, I said. This is separation, I said. With dignity, he asked. With boundaries, I said. I touched the contract. This defined my role, I said. You can rewrite it, he said. I already rewrote myself, I said. The room felt quieter. Not empty. Clear. I remember who you were, he said. I remember who I became, I said. That girl trusted me, he said. That woman trusts herself, I said. You will struggle, he said. I already did, I said. You will be alone, he said. I already was, I said. You will miss this, he said. I will miss the idea, I said. What idea, he asked. Being chosen, I said. I chose you, he said. You selected me, I said. That hurts, he said. It clarifies, I said. I lifted the ring. His weight surprised me. This represents security, he said. It represents silence, I said. You could redefine it, he said. I do not want to, I said. I placed it back. I am not angry, I said. I am not forgiving, I said. I am finished, I said. He nodded slowly. Is this who you are now, he asked. Yes, I said. No drama, he said. No revenge, I said. No reconciliation, he said. No dependence, I said. He watched me carefully. I underestimated this, he said. You underestimated me, I said. I underestimated your resolve, he said. You mistook patience for weakness, I said. I see that now, he said. Seeing does not reverse, I said. He leaned against the desk. Will you ever regret this? He asked. I will miss what I imagined, I said. I will not miss who I was becoming, I said. That certainty scares me, he said. It steadies me, I said. I gathered my things. You learned from me, he said. I learned despite you, I said. That is fair, he said. I am not trying to be fair, I said. I am trying to be whole, I said. He straightened. Is there nothing I can offer? He asked. Respect without access, I said. That is difficult, he said. That is growth, I said. I walked toward the door. I once thought power meant keeping, he said. It means releasing, I said. Even this? He asked. Especially this, I said. My hand paused on the handle. I did care, he said. I know, I said. That makes this harder, he said. That makes it honest, I said. I opened the door. You will do well, he said. I already am, I said. The hallway felt different. Not narrow. Open. My phone buzzed again. You can return, he said. I will not, I said. Not ever, he asked. Not like this, I said. I stepped forward. Thank you, he said. For what? I asked. For choosing integrity, he said. That choice was never yours, I said. I walked away. Each step felt deliberate. Not rushed. Not afraid. I thought about who I was when I arrived. Quiet. Grateful. Invisible. I thought about who I was now. Aware. Capable. Defined. I did not win. I did not lose. I chose. That was power. Not dominance. Not control. Not influence. Definition. I breathed in. The air felt earned. I did not look back. Not because it did not matter. Because it no longer owned me. The cost was real. The attachment lingered. The memory stayed. But my future stood separate. And that separation, chosen freely, was the strongest thing I had ever done. Chapter 12, Walking Forward Whole. Exact word count, 1,300. I woke up without dread for the first time in years. You're smiling, someone said. I noticed, I replied. The morning light felt honest. Not hopeful. Honest. What's next? The voice asked. I walk, I said. Where? It asked. Forward, I said. I packed slowly. Not escaping. Closing. You're really leaving, someone said. Yes, I replied. No anger? They asked. No, I said. That surprises me, they said. It surprised me too, I said. I folded the last shirt. You could tell your story, they said. You could expose everything, they said. I already told the truth, I said. I don't need to repeat it, I said. That sounds peaceful, they said. It's earned, I said. I stepped outside. You look different, someone said. I feel aligned, I replied. With what? They asked. With myself, I said. The street was louder than I remembered. You'll be missed, someone said. I won't disappear, I said. That confidence is new, they said. It grew quietly, I said. I walked past familiar doors. You used to hesitate here, a voice said. I used to wait, I replied. For permission? They asked. For approval? I said. And now? They asked. Now I move, I said. My phone buzzed. I hope you're well, the message read. I am, I typed back. That's good, came the reply. It is, I typed. No attachment followed. No ache chased it. You're not bitter, someone said later. I'm not, I replied. How? They asked. I let pain teach, I said. I didn't let it rule, I said. We sat across from each other. You changed, they said. I clarified, I said. That's stronger, they said. It feels lighter, I said. You don't need validation anymore, they said. I never needed it, I said. I needed safety, I said. And now? They asked. Now I give it to myself, I said. I held the coffee cup. Do you miss him? They asked. I miss who I thought he was, I said. That's honest, they said. It's complete, I said. I stood up. Where are you going? They asked. To build, I said. Alone? They asked. Not isolated, I said. Independent, I said. Outside the wind felt sharp. You're calm, they said. I'm finished fighting, I said. With him? They asked. With the past, I said. A pause followed. You won, they said. I survived, I said. That's more, they said. I know, I said. I walked farther. Do you forgive? they asked. I release, I said. That's different, they said. Yes, I said. A child laughed nearby. That sound stayed with you, they said. It reminds me why I endure, I said. For what? They asked. For choice, I said. I reached the corner. You're not invisible anymore, they said. I see myself, I said. That's enough, they said. It always was, I said. My phone vibrated again. You did well, the message read. I did, I typed. No explanation followed. None was needed. You're closing a chapter, someone said. I closed it already, I said. Then why does it still feel emotional? They asked. Because endings matter, I said. But they don't control me, I added. I breathed in deeply. What do you feel? They asked. Whole, I said. Even after everything? They asked. Especially after everything, I said. I paused. I honor the pain, I said. I don't worship it, I said. That's wisdom, they said. It's survival refined, I said. I turned back once. Do you regret staying as long as you did? They asked. No, I said. I learned, I said. And the cost? They asked. It shaped me, I said. But didn't break you, they said. No, I said. I stepped forward again. Will you tell this story? They asked. When it helps, I said. And now, they asked. Now I live it, I said. The sky looked wider. You seem free, they said. I am grounded, I said. That's better, they said. It lasts longer, I said. I walked into the open space ahead. No spotlight followed. No applause arrived. Just quiet. Just direction. Just me. I wasn't running. I wasn't proving. I was continuing. I thought about the girl who stayed silent. I honored her. I thought about the woman who spoke. I trusted her. I didn't need closure from anyone else. I carried it with me. Each step felt deliberate. Not heavy. Resolved. I didn't win a battle. I ended a cycle. That was enough. The past loosened its grip. The future waited without demand. I smiled once more. Not because everything was perfect. Because I was present. Oh. And finally walking forward.